All right, man. I'm excited to kind of give the details on how I kind of do my nutrition and the system I have in place. I would expect a lot of this isn't new to you, but for what it's worth, here it is. I'm going to kind of like brain dump some of this stuff out. So hopefully it's cohesive enough. But the first thing I would start off with is the things that I do now on the way up were the same things I did on the way down. And it was never hard for me to do either because like I genuinely enjoy the way that I eat. So like even when I dieted down to kind of my, I guess my lowish body fat percentage, it wasn't that hard for me. Like it really wasn't like relatively like yeah sure there's some times where I was hungry this or that, but like I didn't struggle with it because I enjoyed the meals that I would make, and so like these were the kind of meals that I'm meal prepping. Like I'm a huge meal prepper, and like I love that because I'm a big like min maxer. Like I want to minimize everything that I hate doing. Like just I'm so lazy, man. Like I don't want to do it. Like I hate cooking. I hate doing dishes. I hate laundry. Like I let shit stack up so I'll do it all at once because I find that I'm more efficient with my time if I just focus on tasks, boom, and do it all at once or something like that. And it's like I'm always trying to maximize my time. And so with meal prepping, it's just like most of this stuff is just meal prepped out and it's just always ready to go. Like lunch and dinner, like during the weekday, is always ready to go and boom, like I know I'm good. And like for the most part, it's always going to get me to right around where the calories where I need to be. Where like I track this stuff during the week pretty closely, but I know that like I don't even need to because I'm so repetitive on my stuff, and I've also been tracking since 2014, right? On and off, but I've been doing it long enough. Like I could give you my calories probably within a 200 to 300 calorie variance just based on like my eyeballing of the food that I prepared. And also I think I'm really good at eyeballing stuff. Like when I go out and eat at a restaurant or anything, like I know because I break down the individual ingredients in my head. Like that's 100 calories, that's 200, that's probably 250. Like I'm good like that. And so I do use that sometimes to my advantage. But here's the thing I will say is I let myself go when I eat out, and I did that both on the way down and I do it on the way up. So it's something to keep in mind there. But yeah, it's like a lot of this repetitive meal prep stuff is chicken, rice, sweet potatoes, the salmon, the vegetables. And I think one of the things that I do really well is the tracking, but I've gotten to the system where it's like, you know, Monday to Friday pretty much is tracked. Like my breakfast is usually very repetitive. It's like some form and mixture of like my oatmeal, yogurt, fruit, eggs, having cream of rice now too, pre-workout if it fits my schedule. But like that oatmeal was a staple for so long where it's just like I'm eating like 80 grams of oats with a scoop of peanut butter and a scoop of whey and a tablespoon of honey with some cinnamon, and just did that every day. Like I was like, I love that. Wake up for it every morning. I'm like, my little sweet tooth love that shit. So I was eating that every morning, and then my lunch and dinners were always the same. And then when I go out on the weekend, like I don't give a fuck. I just ate out, and geez, let me think. So on the tracking side stuff, you can see here this is like from MyFitnessPal in the last 90 days, and you know there's been times where I was more serious about tracking everything, you know, like 2 years ago, and you know as I've trickled up in body weight, and even these last like couple months where I'm like just sitting and hovering and maintaining at 185 to 190, like I'm not as strict, but basically you can tell like wherever there's like white spots where it's not tracking, like that's the weekend where I don't track, but I still know I'm relatively where I need to be. Like right, like if I'm not going out for breakfast, I just have my regular breakfast. If I'm not going out for lunch, like I'm having pretty much a meal. I make a meal that's very similar to what I have. And then like for dinner, like I don't care, we go to a Mexican restaurant, like I'm getting a cheesy something. It's loaded up. Got the guacamole with the chips. I'll eat a whole basket of chips. Like I don't give a shit. Go out for ice cream after. I ball out. And something with me is like, even though I'm very good at tracking, I do really follow by the 80-20, and the way I do my 80-20 is also not how I always coach 80-20 to clients, but like I do like 80% of my total calories is definitely whole, good, clean foods, and the other 20% is like whatever I want, typically like my standard nights, right? And that's where I always get my ice cream at the end of the night, which is why when I diet down, it was so easy because I'm like, I know I'm getting my ice cream at the end of the night, and I fucking love that ice cream. And so it's easy, and like I enjoyed the whole foods that I was preparing. So easy on the way down, honestly. And it's the same exact thing on the way up, except I'm eating more calories, typically more carbs. Sometimes a little more spillover in fats too, but like it's mostly just carbs. Protein's just staying the same. And like I think that when I do overeat a lot on the weekend, like if I have a super busy weekend of eating out and stuff like that, my body starts to tell me like I'm full with calories and I'm not as hungry on, like, let's say Sunday or Monday. And I just use that intuitively to say like, okay, I'm gonna eat a little less calories, or like I'm not gonna force feed myself to hit my calorie count. I just go, I probably overate a little bit by like, maybe if I'm normally eating like 500 or 1,000 calories over on the weekend because I'm balling out, I probably ate 1,500 or 2,000, something crazy, and it's just like, all right, Monday I'm just chilling. Like if I only get to around 2,500 and I'm full, then I ain't gonna force it. And I think that starts to just kind of negate out, some of that and brings it back to the right averages where it needs to be, so that I'm not gaining too quickly. And that's mostly intuitive. But I was also eating and balling out when I was cutting down to lean levels. Like I was going on dates and all this stuff. I was just super strict, like during the week, and that strictness included me still eating ice cream every night. So it still was not, it's not a hard strict to follow. Some of the days here you see where it's like I'm really under calories, like let's say like 1,600 and stuff like that, 1,200, that just means I didn't finish tracking that day. I didn't care. A lot of times like I'm so good at eyeballing that I'm just like, I get to dinner and I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna beat my calories and I'm still gonna be good for the typical ice cream we're gonna have tonight. So like I don't even bother logging the rest. But as you can see, like on these days where it's like I'm pretty consistent with that. I think another big thing here is like my steps. So like this was like last year. This was like 2024. This is like January of 2024. So my average was 9,000 steps. But you can see like here like all through this chunk, I was getting a lot of steps, like averaging 10,000 almost during that chunk. I think these outliers here, kind of December and January, brought me down. But and then you look at like this whole last year, like May of 25 to May of 26. You can see it's kind of trended down a little bit. It's only a 500 calorie step difference, but when you really start to look at the trend, like here, the last like bit, my step count has come down. So like I'm not expending as many calories. So like naturally I can just put a little less. And that was part of my game plan too, was like to just at a certain point where I was like, dude, like 3,500 calories is filling me up and I don't want to increase my calories. I just fucking moved to less. So I stopped walking as much. And I just, you're busy in the training sessions. I'm tired. I don't want to do anything extra than I have to. So like everything's been floating in the right way. But the steps is a big thing. So if I had to recap in my mind right now, like what are the biggest things of the system, what works? And it's like, okay, it's the 80-20 with the whole foods to the calories of whole foods and the junk food. It's the 80-20 of like I'm tracking 80% of my days. And then it's like the step count is huge in modifying that. I think some of the intuitiveness of just knowing when I do overeat and I'm okay with it. Like I'm not punishing myself. It just, I know I'm full and like, all right, I don't over push it. And then it just being, since I have that system in place, it's the same exact thing I've done on the way down as the way up. And I don't know if there's anything else special about it really. I mean, there's nothing probably special about this at all. So, I mean, this may be interesting to you at all, but like for a long time when I was tracking it, like this was like the meals in MyFitnessPal where, this is my chicken, rice, and guac one. And it's just like 6 ounces of the chicken, 2 cups of rice. I'm assuming like the avocado is like 120 grams and then whatever vegetable. And I would put this in even if there was little variances and just leave it there. It's the same thing for the 93 7-gram beef. It's like, boom, basically the same thing, what I would generally have. And like they're both 800 or 900 calories. You put 2 of those together, right? Now you're looking at like your like what, 1,900 calories. And then from there, my oatmeal that I would always do right here is 670 calories. So now you're looking at like 2,400 calories. Boom, pretty easy. And then it's like, all right, I just eat my ice cream for dinner. And like these meals would be big enough that like I'm pretty much full. Like I make it to breakfast, lunch, dinner, ice cream for a while and didn't really snack much. And if I did snack back then when I was getting lean, then it would be a lot of fruits and vegetables. And that's where, geez, I don't even know if I dumped this out in the thoughts, but it was like, and I don't know if this is it's not really a good thing, but I do eat less fruits and vegetables as my weight is going up to get to the calories. Because if I eat the same volume that I was back then I get too full. I can't get to my calories. And it's an interesting thing because like as someone who grew up chubby and was trying to be skinny, I don't want to say I have the reverse problem now. I just think that I eat appropriately enough now where it would be hard for me to overeat my calories if I'm keep eating all these whole foods. So I tend to actually right now eat more junk food to get my calories in than I do when I was cutting. But both ways. I enjoyed both. And so yeah, like these are the three big staples, like breakfast, lunch, and dinner. It always puts me at like that 23, 24, 2,500 calories. And then it's like, and I'm always somewhere between, like, when I was cutting, the lowest I got to was like 2,300 calories. And then, which I don't even think is that low. And then like my maintenance is always somewhere between like 2,700 to like 3,000 with my activity levels. And then, you know, when we're trying to add the weight, that's when I knew I started to go 3,000, 3,100, 32, 33. And then I was at 35. And 35 started to overshoot a little bit. And that's where, like, we've gotten to the 185, 190 range. And I'm just kind of like chilling here. I'm not as strict, feeling good. So there's that. I would say a big thing, too, is like, I do like these Ninja Creamy recipes. Those are kind of clutch at some points where I was just trying to be a little more mindful and not eat so much garbage when, even when I was going up or down, you know, eating ice cream every night. I guess that saturated fat might not be that healthy for you, and the sugar, I guess. But these were good alternatives that I would incorporate, right? Because I'm going many months of eating ice cream, then I go like a month or two of just eating the creamy, then I go back. So I kind of alternate back and forth just for purely health reasons, because calorie-wise, I don't need to worry about it. Like, I got it down to a T. But yeah, man, I guess overall I just kind of really cracked the code for myself of like, what are the foods that keep you the most satiated and I get the most full, and then what do I enjoy the most? Well, I'm not thinking about it now is like, so here's this, because this is what usually gets people, is like what your cravings are. Now, I love ice cream is my favorite thing, but dude, I also love binging like chocolate chip cookies and Oreos, and those two I know I have zero control over. So I don't really eat those. So like I'm super free on what I eat, but I stay away from those because I love them too much, and I'll just binge the shit out of those, and I would never be able to stay on. Like, I don't think I could healthily and be satisfied if I was like, oh, well, let me eat 500 calories of chocolate chip cookies every night. It just won't sit the same way that 500 calories of ice cream would. So I just stick with my ice cream because I love it, and it actually is something that I can semi-stop myself on, where I could have 10 cookies, and I could eat a whole fucking sleeve, if not the whole thing of Oreos. So I just don't do those. And then all the foods that I choose, like, just over trial and error of so long, I found this very simple little recipes that just get it done for me. And I think too, I think I made a little social post on this, but like, something that keeps it fresh is just like, it's so easy with the base layer of the ingredients. Like the chicken, like the crock pot chicken, it's just like I throw it in the crock pot and shred it. Like I put a little bit of seasoning on there. And then it's like, if I want to modify it anyway, like different little salsas for different days. Or is it guacamole or avocado on it? Or am I going to do something like a chicken salad sandwich with like the light mayo? Or am I going to just do like a buffalo chicken, I throw by Frank's hot sauce on there, and then I measure like the blue cheese crumbles on it or whatnot. It's like those little things where it's like in this video, you see where I just like talk about, like, I just try and leverage these different lower calorie condiments to just complement like what I like to eat, and that's it. I think I'm real. All right, at this point, I think too, like, I'm probably just getting into nitty gritties that don't really matter, but yeah. Here's another example of that where, like, I always have the base chicken and rice that helps me hit the right macros and calories, and then like I'm measuring the crumble cheese on there, and that it's like just hits macros easy. Overall too, like, I'm never really worried too much about like the actual macro nutrient ratios. Like, I just like hit my protein and my calories, and I don't really worry about like fats and carbs that much. Now, like, I do highly bias the carbohydrates over the fats, but and I think there may be some advantages to that, right? Like, you're eating in a surplus. I truthfully don't know how much those differences really are. Like, people say, you know, like fat gets stored easier as fat when you're in a surplus than carbohydrates, and, you know, thermic effects of food and shit like that. Like, I don't know how, to what degree those really matter. But I do definitely bias carbohydrates a lot. But my fat still can get up there. Like, there could be a lot of days where, like, I think my baseline that I put in the app is like 70 to 80 grams of fat. But there's days where I'm at 100 to 120 grams of fat. But my carbs are always so high as it is, like 300, 400, 450. Like, so I'm up there. And I think that on the way up to, and forgive me for being so rambled and not coherent in some of this storytelling, but like trickling the calories back up was just such a strategic effort where nothing changed from my diet down to diet up, where it was like just add 100 calories, see where the body weight goes. Is it going along good? Okay. And then once it just seemed like it was about to stop, all right, bump 100 calories up from there. Boom, just keep seeing to see if it goes up a little bit. Oh, doesn't go up, another 100 calories. And then so all of a sudden it's just like that reverse diet all the way back, all the way up to, where I'm eating 3,000 to 3,500 calories every day, and it just keeps me where I'm at. So it's that, I guess there was that concentrated effort too, where, following the principles I talked about before, where it was just slowly adding it back up, adding it back up, adding it back up. And it was just kind of like a nice little reward and treat to be like, all right, another 100 calories. I get to eat more. Cool. Like, less fucks I have to give. Like, because I'm getting more calories. And honestly, sometimes those extra calories came in the form of junk food. Like, all right, well, when it got steep and deep when I was originally dieting and I was down to like 2,300 calories, I think I was doing one little Friendly's cup of ice cream every night. And it was like 300 calories usually of just that ice cream. And so like, that's where I worked myself up to 500 calories, right? Because if you do the math on that, it's like, if you're eating 3,000 calories, right? Like 500 out of 3,000, that's closer to your 20%, right? So, but when you're only eating 2,300 calories, right? Well, actually that one, that would 460. I guess I had, wait a second. All right, never mind. That math makes sense, but I don't really know. Wait, 3,000? Oh, that's because I was undershooting it here. Yeah, it's 600 calories of ice cream. You do 30% of 3,000. But anyways, like I was like trying to not make it always 20. Sometimes I was trying to be like at like 10%, of the calories is junk food when I was stricter on the way down a little bit. But another thing too is like huge for me is Chipotle, honestly. Like I eat a lot of Chipotle, and I think it's lucky for me that for me really is a craving that I get, and it's not like the worst craving to get because you can very easily make it fit your calories and your macros. Like if I go back here in 2025, I went to Chipotle 33 times, and that's just on that credit card. And I know that I use also my Cash App card, so I've gone to Chipotle more times than 33. And so there's a good average of I go to Chipotle once a week, and that's usually during the week. So like I don't always have a thing like a meal prep that night. I skip it. I say fuck it, I want Chipotle, and then like because we don't like go out to Chipotle to eat and have fun because Vivian does not like Chipotle. So this is just me during the weekday if I decide to go, and it's not even all of the transactions on my other card too. And if we look at this year, this is for 2026 so far, year to date, we're at April 30th. I'm at 22 times for Chipotle. So, yeah, I'm at a higher rate because I've only been putting on this one card. So we'll see at the end of the year how many Chipotle visits I have. So, yeah, with the math from ChatGPT, I'm on pace for 67 Chipotle visits by the end of the year, which would be a little over one time a week, which makes sense. But yeah, man, I guess, geez, I can't believe I've been rambling for 18 minutes now. I know you can watch this at like 1.5 or 2x speed, especially on Loom, and it'll give a summary. But I hope this is kind of helpful to understand what I do for my nutrition. Let me know if you got questions. On a side note, appreciate all the feedback on everything for this week on the form reviews. I'll implement some of that stuff, and I'm feeling good. I like we're working. I like the split. I like the movements. So yeah, thank you, brother. I appreciate all you do. Thank you for the check-ins, and I hope this was helpful for you. Peace.